Hey, what's crack-a-lackin' guys? I'm Roman from Novazone TV, and for this little video I decided I'm going to talk about this somewhat obscure and very short series, Kyosogiga. Kyosogiga is a story presented to us as the tale of a jacked-up family by Izumu Todo and Rie Matsumoto. But as the series goes on, it becomes both exactly that and a lot more. The character introduced to us as the protagonist is this girl Koto, but it's more so in that she's our outside perspective to the world most of the series takes place in. In fact, she doesn't even appear at all in the first episode until the very end. The main story of the show is that Koto's hammered her way into this dimension that a priest created a few centuries ago to be a perfect utopia. In that world, there's 3 siblings adopted by the priest that watch over this utopian society since he and their mom left a long time ago. Nothing wrong happens in this little pocket dimension because death has been abolished, no one's aging, and all objects repair themselves once they're broken. However, that all changes once Koto with her big magic hammer and mission to find a black rabbit that just might be the mother to those 3 siblings. So the show has a very strange pacing. The first episode focuses on why the priest and his wife created the dimension, and then it establishes the status quo the siblings lived in. And then after that, it becomes character focused for a few episodes. The second one focuses on Koto's childhood in the outside world, and then the 3rd through 5th episodes focus on each of the 3 siblings and the emotional scars they were left after their parents left. Now, the second half of the series is where all the story development happens, which is a very strange direction to take as far as TV anime go, especially one so short. Both Gunbuster series did something similar, but those are OVAs, so it's a bit different. And really, the shift between the 2 halves is almost Gainax levels of crazy, because we go from colorful city shenanigans with dark undertones to dark overtones that question the selfishness of gods and the desire to defeat death. Now, what's going to immediately strike most people watching the show is the art style and the comedy in it. Like I said, the story gets pretty dark, but it hides that under its mostly cheerful main character in Neon Light City. It kind of fools you for a bit because episode 1 and 2 mainly take place outside that dimension where it's very bleak. So when episode 3 is mostly there, you kind of think the series is gonna brighten up. But oof. That's some smoke and mirrors. My favorite character in the show is easily Mioe. He's the closest any of the characters come to being grounded in reality, but instead of being shocked by everything going on, he just acts either extremely annoyed or mentally scarred, because that is what this show focuses on a lot. What really pulls me in about the whole show is its general uniqueness. I am one of those older, jaded anime fans that sees that everything is just derivative of each other, though admittedly you will still find me watching that typical cute girl show of the month. But either way, Kyosogiga's fresh presentation catches my attention. I'm actually kinda shocked that Kyosogiga didn't really start a trend of shows like it. Maybe it's because no one wants to do 10-episode shows with the same type of experimental pacing. Though what's even more shocking about it is that this one was done by Toei Animation, who any longtime anime fans can tell you isn't exactly the shining example of experimental. But it's still good to see them do something other than their One Piece and Dragon Ball from time to time. I definitely recommend checking it out, but keep in mind that episode 0 is non-canon, so you can skip it if you're okay with missing a few funny faces. Maybe someday I'll do a real spoiler-ridden in-depth look on my own channel, but that's all I've got for today.
Hi, I'm Dan the Amateur, and I love anime. I especially love the kinds of anime that make me feel a wide spectrum of emotions. Passion, joy, sadness. An anime that can evoke such responses from my cold black heart is certainly an anime that is worthy of my and your time. So with that being said, let's hack into the gate and jump world lines as we take a look at the 2011 sci-fi thriller anime and my favourite anime of all time, Steins Gate. Adapted from the visual novel of the same name by White Fox, Steins Gate is the story of university student Rentaro Okabe, a self-proclaimed mad scientist who adopts the persona of an evil genius, Hoen Kiyome. He tries to spread his delusions of grandeur to any and all who will give him time of the day, including childhood friend Mayuri Shina and hacker extraordinaire Daru. One day, after attending a university lecture and getting into a shouting match about the originality of the lecturer's time travel theories, he stumbles upon the deceased body of Makise Kurusu, an 18-year-old neuroscience researcher and a science prodigy. Temporarily dropping his mad scientist shtick, Okabe does what any self-respecting youth would do in that situation. Nope, not call the police, but text his friend Daru that he just found a dead body. Lol. Little does he know that what he's about to do will change the world as he knows it. As soon as he presses send, the world stops still, and the past, the present, and the future immediately diverge. After discovering that his text message to Daru was able to travel back in time and somehow prevent Makise Kurisu's death, Okabe begins his crusade to develop his D-mail machine and to create the very first functioning time machine. The early episodes of Steins Gate are light-hearted and fun as we learn the supporting mechanics of time travel. Despite initial hostilities, Okabe is able to collaborate and work with Makise. He also inducts honorary lab members Kiryu Uemoka, Luku Urashibara, Faris Nyan, and Suzuha Amane, all who wish to change the past in some way and take advantage of the D-mail machine to do this. However, sometimes sending these texts back in time results in consequences that perhaps no one could have predicted. Thanks to the genius of Makise Kurisu, the engineering know-how of Daru, and the uplifting support of Mayuri, the Future Gadget Laboratory is able to build the very first functioning time machine. But to have such a powerful and dangerous creation in the hands of a group of university students results in tragedy, as Okabe learns the price of playing God and learns that some futures should never have existed. It's at this part of the series that have the most emotional impact on me, as we watch Okabe desperately try to save his friends and to undo the damage he has unintentionally caused. Okabe, for some reason, is the only character who is able to discern when the past has changed, and because of this, he is forced into an endless cycle as he repeatedly goes back in time to try and escape destiny and prevent certain horrors from coming to pass. Okabe's mental state deteriorates dramatically. He suffers in isolation, alone, as in each world line no one else has the knowledge or understanding of what is about to occur. We see his mad scientist facade crumble, and the person behind that grandiose ego is actually a kind-hearted young man who is willing to tear himself apart to ensure he and his friends can finally have that happy ending. Steins Gate is a fantastic story, beautifully crafted with well-developed and sympathetic characters. You feel for everyone as you realise what each person must sacrifice in order to return to the correct world line. The stakes aren't only personal for each individual characters, but also the fate of the world rests on Okabe's decisions, as his meddling with time travel could result in a future authoritarian dystopia or a world war that will annihilate many, many lives. The art style feels quite unique, as there is an abundance of dull grey colours that I feel fits the show's tone and atmosphere perfectly. The voice acting also deserves praise in both the subbed and dubbed versions of the anime. Mamoru Miyano does a fantastic job of bringing Okabe's mad scientist persona to life in the subbed version, while John Michael Tatum is able to capture Okabe's emotional depth and struggles in the dubbed version. This anime is a fantastic anime, and I consider this a masterpiece. It is my favourite anime of all time, and I recommend everyone to watch it.
Kiss X Sis is the best anime ever. Period. Okay. Where do I begin? Kiss X Sis is a masterpiece that can transcend time with its beautiful art and amazing characters. The subtle storytelling is something to behold, and the suspense is on par with the likes of Death Note, and the romance is also the best I've seen. The clash between no, okay. I'm done. Sorry. Can't do this. I'm out. Okay. Jokes about Kiss X Sis being, put aside for now. If I'm being honest, the one anime I can say I hold above the rest would have to be Darker Than Black. It's the first anime I've ever seen, and it holds the #1 spot for me in a lot of things. I don't think I can accurately review the anime in 6 minutes, or really less because of the stupid Kiss X Sis joke, which I in fact did watch, by the way. But what I can do is kind of a quick or brief summary of why I love it, and maybe encourage those of you watching this to also view it. Okay. For me, Darker Than Black was really interesting for a number of reasons. The fact that the main character wasn't, the stereotypical happy-go-lucky good guy fighting for justice kind of stuff. And that technically you were viewing the main part of the show, or the main character, through the bad guy's eyes. Quote unquote bad guys. But at the same time, you get to see how this character and what he was doing affected the rest of the world around him. It was interesting to see those actions and how those actions affected people and progressed another story. The story itself wasn't really 100% black and white through the main character's eyes either. And through the progression of the story, you slowly begin to understand these situations and feelings, and how viewed from the right lens, anybody could be the bad or the good guy. This was a story that really interested me and kept me hooked for the duration of the entire show. Stutter. Someday, when I think I've compiled my thoughts and I want to do it justice, I really do plan to do a full review about the anime on my own channel with spoilers. This was more of a spoiler-free brief review, or I don't know. All I can say is really just look forward to that when I've uploaded it. My name is Faded Shadow 33 on YouTube and on Twitter, and I am currently working on Game Domain and Anime Domain with podcasts and content. Be sure to subscribe to Anime Domain and all the people working on it, and Game Domain people too. I mean, they're not as cool as this Anime Domain, but, games are fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. My video is going to be a bit shorter than the rest. I hope the boss don't get mad. And, goodbye.
Good day, everybody. I'm Bob Roger. You probably haven't heard of me, and that's fine. I'm new around here. But, without further ado, let's get into what you're here for. But first, a disclaimer. I just want to say that my memory of this is from when it first came out, so things might be a bit weird. But I just don't have the time to rewatch it. I'm already watching 10 other animes. Sorry. Alright, I'm gonna split this into a couple parts. Animation and plot. For the anime, Demon Slayer, or as it's known in Japanese, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Part 1, Animation. What can I say? It's great. Looking back from when it first came out and I watched it, there was just something so captivating about it, an elegance of sorts. In combat scenes, the animation will go into slow motion for a second, and then speed back up, as if to flex on us with their skills. Something I remember reading, this source might not be true or not, I remember reading that Tanjiro, the main character's blade, has the water on it, and that stands out with the regular animation. That water isn't actually there to the people who are fighting Tanjiro. It's just for effect. Good effect. Now this part of what I'm talking about for animation should honestly get its own section. Nezuko. Just Nezuko. And I don't mean that in a DDLC Monica way of just Nezuko. I mean that Nezuko is a god amongst gods. I mean, when you're done watching this video, go look up Nezuko montages. And the cute, funny animation they give her for lighter moments is adorable. And then you're caught off guard when she uses a blood art to assist Tanjiro in the most awesome way possible. With the music swelling and the flashbacks to their father, and Tanjiro unleashing a new move, which I normally get pissed off when all of a sudden a character just pulls that stuff out of nowhere. But Kimetsu no Yaiba gets a free pass because of that. And also because I hate spiders, and Rui is a spider. Oh, and did I mention that there are spoilers because they're, as you may have noticed. Anyways, I feel more motivated to cheer for Tanjiro and Nezuko to fight and win than if I had a gun pressed against my head telling me to do it. I would invite the guy with the gun to sit down and watch with me. And then when we're done, I would hope we bonded over Tanjiro and Nezuko fighting enough for them to not threaten me again. Anyways, on to the next part. Part 2, plot as well as some scene description. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started watching, I just groaned and said, "Oh boy, another edgy protagonist," when Tanjiro came in and saw the aftermath of Michael Jackson as a demon and his friends who are also demons. I genuinely thought Tanjiro was gonna become a badass edgy protagonist, but oh boy was I wrong. When he found Nezuko still alive and seeing him fight so hard to protect her, and the funny moments that came with them. I knew this anime was gonna be different than some others. The overarching conflict of the anime is revenge against Muzan Kibutsuji, which is pretty typical as far as the end goal for anime protagonists, get revenge on those who have wronged you and whatnot. But when Tanjiro found his mentor and started training, I found it, well, amusing for a montage. I expected him to just master and be done with it. But no! There are dead children ghosts now too! Fun. But like really though, it was actually fun to watch him train with them. And then it got long hair and I was praying to the great Nezuko in the sky that he cut it off. It just didn't fit him. When Tanjiro finally beats Sabito, the ghost boy, I was really surprised when all of a sudden it turns out he actually cut a boulder in half. Is that just me or no? Alright. Anyways, I'm spending too much time on the beginning of the series. Let's cut to Tanjiro during the last trial to become a demon slayer. Tanjiro keeps persistently asking demons if they know how to undemon themselves, so he can save his sister. But the part I like is that when they ignore him and attack, he isn't like a lot of shonen protagonists. He isn't so naive as to keep them alive and convince them to not kill humans as, you know, they can't not kill humans. I should point out now that I'm focusing on Tanjiro and Nezuko, but if I'm asked to be in another video, I may talk a bit more about Inosuke and Lightning Coward. No hate, just facts. Jumping all the way over to the arc of the story where they're in the forest against all the spider demons, which was very hard for me to watch as I really cannot stand spiders. It had been guessing who the real Demon Moon was until it revealed that it was Irui. Before that, when they were trying to find and kill the mother, I genuinely felt bad for her, even though for a bit I thought she was the Demon Moon, and I was confused when she wasn't. I just felt bad for her. You see through the flashbacks that she was abused a lot and got ordered around by Rui in his twisted thinking of what a family is. I had mixed emotions due to that when Tanjiro made that absolutely beautiful jump in the air, when he came down as the mother had her arms reached out, wanting to be freed from the cruel life she was given. It was beautiful. Same with the battle against Rui. The viewer kept getting flashbacks from Rui's point of view, as well as Tanjiro's flashback to his father, which enabled him to use another style of blade works that used fire to break out of Rui's blood art, as well as Nezuko, who's being hung in the air by sharp threads. Tanjiro and Nezuko's mom's ghost appears in front of Nezuko, telling her to wake up, and when she does, she uses a blood art that you've never seen her use before, causing explosions from one side of Rui's fight and deflaming Tanjiro from another. The amount of stories being told in this battle that probably lasted maybe like 15 minutes at most to Tanjiro lasted much longer to the viewer because of the flashbacks. The people who created the scene really wanted to make an impact, and not just by flexing on us with their incredible animation skills, but by also hitting our emotions. I'm not saying I particularly felt bad for Rui, well, not very much. It's just showing us the feelings of the other members of the family, and also seeing a couple points of views from the demons really just made the moment better. Anyways, I feel like I may or may not have gone on long enough, so have a nice day. From Bob Rocha.